I was always the forgotten one in my family, until they suddenly decided they needed me back. For as long as I can remember, I've been invisible. Not in the supernatural sense, but in a way that makes your existence feel weightless, as if you're just a shadow moving through life, unseen and unimportant. I grew up in a chaotic household where everyone had something wrong with them, except for me. My parents were always preoccupied, always running from one crisis to the next, always exhausted. Meanwhile, I was just there, the quiet one, the easy one, the one who didn't cause trouble. For years, I thought that being unnoticed was better than being a burden. But now, at 42, after 2 decades of distance, my parents suddenly want me back in their lives, and I think I finally understand why. Not because they miss me, not because they regret how they treated me, but because they need something from me, and my next decision will change everything. There is a big age gap between me and my 5 siblings. I'm the youngest by a decade, and by the time I was old enough to form memories, my family was already drowning in problems. My oldest brother, now 52, had a severe chronic illness. His entire childhood was spent in and out of hospitals. My sister, now 50, battled anxiety and depression from an early age, requiring constant therapy and medication. The 48-year-old twins struggled with learning disabilities and needed special education. And then there was me, the healthy one, the normal one, the one they didn't have to worry about. Nobody checked my homework or asked about my day. If I needed something, I figured it out myself. I learned how to cook because no one remembered to feed me. I walked myself to school because no one had time to drop me off. One of my first painful memories was my parents forgetting my birthday, not once but 3 years in a row. I remember sitting at the dinner table on my 10th birthday, waiting for someone to say something. But the day passed like any other, swallowed up by my siblings' problems. I told myself it didn't matter, but it did. By high school, I had already made up my mind. My grades were my ticket out. I threw myself into academics, not because anyone pushed me, but because I knew I had to escape. I remember one specific moment that summed up my childhood perfectly. I had worked for months to qualify for the state debate finals. I told my parents about it repeatedly. It was the biggest achievement of my life at that point. The morning of the event, I came downstairs, dressed in my best outfit, nervous but excited. My mom barely looked up from a pile of medical bills. "Oh," she said, distracted. "Are you going somewhere?" My stomach dropped. "Mom, it's today, the debate finals." She blinked, then gave a half-hearted, "Oh, right. Well, good luck. We have to take your brother to his doctor's appointment, so we can't come." That was it. No encouragement, no acknowledgement. I made it to the finals alone. I placed second. I came home that night with a certificate and a hollow feeling in my chest. No one asked how it went. The certificate sat on my desk for weeks, collecting dust. It was then that I realized something. I could win every award in the world and they still wouldn't see me. College was my escape. I deliberately chose a school on the opposite side of the country, as far away as possible. For the first time in my life, I could breathe. I made friends who actually listened when I spoke. M and C, my 2 closest college friends, became my family in a way my real family never had. After graduation, M and I moved to a new state and built a life together, not romantically, just as chosen family. I built a career I was proud of. As a senior marketing executive, my job demanded attention, and for the first time, I thrived in the spotlight. Ironically, after a lifetime of being invisible, I had become an expert at making things visible: brands, campaigns, strategies. Work. People noticed me. They valued my opinions. And for the first time, I felt like I mattered. Then, last week, my mother called. We hadn't spoken in over a year. When I saw her name on my phone, I almost didn't pick up, but something told me I should. Without even a greeting, she said, We want you to come home for Thanksgiving. I froze. It wasn't a request. It was a demand. You are missed by your father and me, she continued, her voice unfamiliar. Older, weaker. A wave of emotions hit me at once. Where was this missing me when I was growing up? Where was this concern when I left and never looked back? I don't think I can, I said. Work is really busy right now, and I have plans with friends. Her voice hardened. Your family is us. Your friends will understand. Family, a word that had never truly included me. She then added, your siblings will all be there. It would mean so much to have everyone together again. Again? Had we ever truly been together? I told her I'd think about it. But I already knew my answer. A few days later, my older brother called. His voice was serious. Mom and Dad have been talking. They're getting older, and they're worried about the future. They want to name you as the legal guardian for the boys. I felt like the floor had been ripped out from under me. I wasn't being invited back because they missed me. I was being summoned because they needed a replacement caregiver. For decades, I was invisible. But now, suddenly, I was needed. I told my brother no. Then I wrote my parents a letter. I told them I would not be coming for Thanksgiving, and I would not be taking on their responsibilities. For the first time in my life, I put myself first. A week later, my mother showed up at my door. She begged me to reconsider. She guilt-tripped, she cried, she called me selfish, and for the first time, I told her the truth. You only need me now because I'm the only one left who's stable. But I am not your backup plan. I am not your safety net. I spent my entire childhood begging for your love, and I will not spend my adulthood cleaning up your mess. She stared at me, speechless. Then she turned and walked away. 2 weeks later, my father passed away. My brother asked if I would come to the funeral. I said no. Not out of anger, but because I had finally let go. For years, I wanted their love, their approval, their acknowledgement. But I don't need it anymore. I have a life, a chosen family, a career, a future. And for the first time, I am truly free. To anyone struggling with toxic family dynamics, you are allowed to walk away. You are allowed to choose yourself, and you are still worthy of love. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so and hit the notification bell to stay updated with more shocking real-life stories happening around you.